Introducing Brian Adams Radio on iHeartRadio.
Got my first real six string.
Hosted by Brian Adams himself.
Join me for an insider look on a wild ride through 40 years of global rock and roll.
Brian Adams Radio. Now available on the free iHeartRadio app. Or ask your smart speaker to play Brian Adams Radio on iHeartRadio.
Who's ready to rock?
Kids wanna rock.
This week in gaming with Naomi Kyle.
Hello again, I'm Naomi Kyle, and welcome back to This Week in Gaming. All right, after spending more than a year bringing you the latest gaming gossip week after week, well, I found that we were getting just a little too comfortable when it came to making this show. My goal with This Week in Gaming is to create a gaming news podcast in a format that our listeners, you guys, find to be both entertaining and informative. So it's time to switch things up a bit. We've decided to shake up the original format in favor of a new one, and one that I think you'll really enjoy. So today I will be joined by This Week in Gaming's very first guest host, Khalif Adams, the CEO and host of the Spawn on Me podcast, as I'm sure you guys know. And together we will investigate a new season of Call of Duty, a GTA 6 update, and why new Xbox prices are putting the X in expensive. We've got all of this week's gaming news, so let's hop right in. Hey Khalif, rightfully so, you're my guest host this week. Are you surprised?
I mean, look, if there was anyone that I could be doing this with, it would be you, and it would be the best person to be doing it with. So
I couldn't agree more. Exactly. So we're going to hop right into the stories, not keep people waiting. But the interesting thing that showed up on my timeline this week was Seth Rogen looks like he's going to be in Call of Duty. Yeah, Call of Duty Black Ops 6 has sparked up Season 3, and they're celebrating the alternative springtime holiday, 420, as we all know it. Season 3 has added in cannabis-themed cameos like Jay and Silent Bob in the past from the cult classic Clerks, for those who know that movie. The newest addition to Black Ops 6 Season 3, however, is another Canadian, Canada's finest, Seth Rogen. I want to know, Khalif, are you, I'm pretty sure I think you are, but Black Ops 6, you're a fan?
Big fan. Love that game. It's super good.
Well, I have to know, are you going to purchase the skin now?
I mean, you sparked some interest, if you want to keep the analogy and pun going.
Right?
Yeah, I mean, I love Seth Rogen. He's fun. I love the fact that Call of Duty is doing this and having these kind of fun characters in the game.
Yeah, every time I see one, I'm like, oh, we're not April Fool's Day. This is real. Because sometimes it's so out of left field. But yeah, Seth Rogen's iconic laugh is, of course, going to be immortalized in Black Ops 6 as an emote, because you can't have Seth Rogen without his iconic laugh. And Seth Rogen will only be available for Black Ops players who have the premium pass for the High Art event that takes place from May 1st until the 15th.
Sweet.
Yeah. So my next story is kind of a bummer news, but I'm very sorry to report that. For our next bit of news, EA has cut over 300 positions at Respawn Entertainment, the developer responsible for creating games like Titanfall, Star Wars Jedi Survivor, and Apex Legends. And Respawn released the following statement regarding the layoffs on social media, so I'm going to read it right now. We've made a decision to step away from 2 early-stage incubation projects and make some targeted team adjustments across Apex Legends and Star Wars Jedi. These decisions aren't easy, and we are deeply grateful to every teammate affected. Their creativity and contributions have helped build Respawn into what it is today. We're offering meaningful support to those impacted, including exploring new opportunities within EA. Now, one of the 2 early-stage projects that is mentioned in this statement, that one has been canceled amidst the layoffs, of course, and it's suspected to be Titanfall 3, or is it confirmed? Do you know this, Khalif?
I think they did say it was supposed to be Titanfall 3.
It's confirmed, Titanfall 3. So that really sucks, but what's worse is in all of this, is that this is the second time this year that EA has had layoffs to employees en masse. And back in late January of this year, EA cut half of BioWare staff by half to, sorry, that's repeating myself. But yeah, half of BioWare staff was cut, and apparently focusing on their goal is to focus on developing the Mass Effect game going forward. So EA has done this twice now, where they lay off hundreds of people, but then they try to minimize that they've done this terrible thing by saying that it's okay and that there are still jobs within EA available for people they've just laid off. It's simply not right in my mind. But how do you feel about it, Kahlief?
It's just really hard. It's one of those weird things of, messaging is really important to come from a corporate structure like that. And it winds up being, at the end of the day, real lives are being affected by these cuts, and we're losing fantastic developers by the day. And that's a sad thing.
Yeah, and I just, my only hope is that some other new studio or something swoops them up, and now all of a sudden they have this huge, very high, very well experienced and talented team that they can start building from all these people who've now been laid off. That's my only hope,
For sure.
But yeah, some more sad news on that front, and some somewhat disappointing news again. I'm sorry, you guys. This is just what I'm relaying. It's just the news. I can't. I'm not in control of it. But 2 weeks ago, we covered the global price increases for the PS5 Digital Edition and the PS Plus membership. Well, you may also recall during that episode that I mentioned that it was only going to get worse. Well, here we are. Microsoft announced on May 1st that the price of Xbox consoles and accessories would increase around the globe effective immediately. So I'm going to give a price breakdown just for everyone listening. So here are the new prices in Canadian dollars. Xbox Series S, 512 gigabytes, that's $450 now. It used to be previously $380. Xbox Series X 1 terabyte version is now $730. Previously was $650. Xbox Series X 2 terabyte Galaxy Black Special Edition. That one's $880 now. It used to be $800. And in US dollars, it's pretty much the same thing. Everything has gone up roughly about $100. And yeah, it's pretty bad. And I don't want to say that it's getting worse, but it kind of is. In addition to the price hikes for Xbox hardware, Microsoft said that we should expect to see first-party Xbox titles costs $110 for Canadians. That's $80 for our US listeners as early as this holiday season. Kahlief, which first-party Xbox titles do you think we will see a bump in price up to maybe $110 for Canadian? Obviously that's $80 for us. But Fable, Perfect Dark, Gears of War, what are you thinking?
I mean, honestly, I think all of them are going to get a bump at this point. I mean, looking at the current state of the economic maneuvers that the U.S. has been kind of engaging with, and seeing how that's waterfall down to the rest of the world and kind of, push prices up for everyone. It's really, really hard to not say that all of those games are probably going to get a bump in the near future. It doesn't make sense, but it is the way that things are trending. So yeah, it doesn't sound great for gamers in that way.
No, it's super unfortunate. They say it's the tariffs. And Nintendo kind of kickstarted this. Hate to put the blame on Nintendo, but the upward pricing trend for their video games. And now that Xbox is following this trend, PlayStation is as well. What about PlayStation games? Do you think we'll see an increase in those?
Supposedly, they've been holding off, but again, we're talking about corporations corporations wanting to offset whatever the price increases are going to wind up being for them, and kind of handing that over to the consumer. So I would bet that we see some price changes on that side of the fence too.
That they'll follow suit. Yeah.
Yeah.
Gosh, this week with news, I gotta say. So GTA 6, okay. Last week, Rockstar announced that they have decided to push back the release of GTA 6 for fall 2025 to May 26, 2026. I'll read the statement that Rockstar released, okay? They said, "We are very sorry that this is later than you expected. The interest and excitement surrounding a new Grand Theft Auto has been truly humbling for our entire team. We want to thank you for your support and your patience as we work to finish the game." With every game we have released, the goal has always been to try and exceed our expectations, and Grand Theft Auto 6 or 5 is, yeah, 6 is no exception. We hope you understand that we need this extra time to deliver at the level of quality you expect and deserve. We look forward to sharing more information with you soon. Okay, well, at least we got an official release date now for GTA 6, right? This is going to be hopefully the real official, staying true, not changing at any point in the future release date. Kahlief, we've experienced a few video game delays in our time. What are your feelings on this whole delay?
I mean, for Grand Theft Auto to kind of say, hey, we're going to take some more time, it was expected by a lot of folks, even though I think many folks who were hoping that it would drop this year, and game developers were we're definitely thinking it was, seeing how many games moved out of the potential windows that they might have been dropping. So we'll wind up seeing if this date sticks. But at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter. Whatever date that they choose and whenever they drop, it's going to be mass hysteria across the world. Mass hysteria.
And here's what I will say. I love the number 13. I'm born on a 13 day, number 13. So GTA 5 will have been 13 years since we got a new GTA, since GTA 5. It was released back September 17th, 2013. Now that GTA is now out of the running in 2025's Game of the Year, I'm very curious to know who you think this year's Game of the Year will be so far.
I think it'll be a toss-up so far, because again, we're only in May, between Clair Obscur, Expedition 33, and Blueprints so far. Those seem to be the two in the running for the kind of zeitgeist Game of the Year so far.
I love it. I'm still on Split Fiction's bandwagon right now, but I agree with you. Those are some great picks. All right, and we're moving on to Games Out this week.
Games Out this week.
On May 6th, Age of Empires 2 Definitive Edition gets ported to PS5. And on May 8th, yes, Your Grace Snowfall journeys onto the PC. Sonic Rumble pummels PC and mobile devices. The Midnight Walk lights the way on PS5, PSVR, and PC. Revenge of the Savage Planet crash lands onto PS5, PC, Xbox One, Xbox Series X and S, and releases day one on Game Pass. The Epic Game Store is offering 2 free games this week, Dead Time Defenders and Touch Tail, which will be available for download from May 8th until the 15th. PS Plus subscribers can look forward to 3 free games for the month of May: Ark Survival Ascended, Warhammer 40k Boltgun, and Balatro. All of these titles will be free and available to download from May 6th until June 2nd.
Quest complete.
So that's it for the news this week. It's now time to chat with our guest, Kahlief Adams, who joins us to chat about his time in the industry, his future plans for the Spawn on Me podcast, and what games he's looking forward to playing this summer.
Select game mode. Multiplayer.
Kahlief, welcome back. So, hey, how's it going?
Not bad.
Good. I got to say, it's good to have you in this episode because we've had you on the show many times. And I don't know if we've really taken a deep dive on your experience in the industry, like everything you have done. You have done so much in the space. So I really just want to get to know get the audience to know a little bit more about what you do. And starting off with, what has it been like having this gaming career, being in the industry, and everything that you've done?
It's been so much fun. Video games. I say this all the time. Video games have given me my career. It's given me some visibility. It's given me a lot of things that I didn't expect, and it's been fantastic. I've worked at multiple places at Intel. I worked at Riot. I worked at Firewalk most recently, and then Brass Lion doing some work with them. And it's been great, doing work in social media and community management and having that on the basis of Spawn on Me, which is how I got into all this madness to begin with. It's been really cool. It's been really fantastic.
And is there anything that you recall that sparked this desire to be in the gaming industry? Have you just always loved games, knew that this was going to be your career path?
Career path, no, but passion, absolutely. I've been playing since I was 3. I'll be celebrating my 47th birthday this year. So it's been a long time. My carpal tunnel is saying hello at this point and saying you've been doing this for a long time. But yeah, it's been one of those things that, I've always been a part of the gaming space. It's been my pastime and passion and hobby forever. And I just want to, be a part of the industry that continues to make this beautiful art that we get a chance to play with every game that comes out and every studio and every person who gets to work in it. It's fantastic stuff.
Yeah, and actually, speaking of people who get to work in it, you have interviewed countless of devs. You've been working alongside them. Are there things that you picked up along the way? Have you learned? What is the biggest thing that you've learned working with them?
I think the biggest takeaway so far has been that, I think the outside world, folks who are outside of the gaming space, folks who are not making games, have this idea that developers don't care about the process and don't care about the art that goes into it. And every developer I've worked with and had a chance to interview are some of the most passionate people on the planet. They could be using their brains for anything else, but at the kind of baseline of all of this is joy. those folks are bringing people joy with the work that they are trying to put out with the art that they are making. So I think that's been the biggest takeaway, is that, again, like the passion that we kind of give to devs it's not enough. We're not giving them enough love for the work that they put in and all that kind of stuff. So that's been a great takeaway.
Yeah, I feel in the climate right now, it is just hard. You're making games, you're passionate about it, you feel very fulfilled by it, you're putting a lot of hard work. And then sometimes, the audience reaction is not good, and the backlash of fans can be pretty brutal. Have you talked to devs about that experience? What have they said most of the times?
Yeah, I mean, that's the hardest part, especially in the work that I do on the community management side, where we're kind of the frontline folks for those criticisms, and getting that back to the development team so they can help, fix a thing that's broken, or, put a feature in, or kind of help, gamers do what they want to do in the games we make. Devs feel that really, really hard. Like, they are humans. They spend many, many years putting these games together, and to have something not do well, or to basically die on the vine. It's a harsh thing for those folks to kind of go through. And I do see some resilience in a lot of those folks who continue to make things and continue to bring good ideas to the table. But they absolutely feel that from a very personal perspective. Sometimes a lot of that feeling is a feeling of failure, but a lot of times that it's a part of the game of being a developer in those spaces, to say, we're putting out something for people to enjoy. Sometimes it doesn't land, and that's okay. So I think that's the biggest kind of pull away from all that.
Yeah, I think not just player mental health, but definitely developer and, anyone who works on something creative, to have, it's hard to develop that thick skin, so to speak. And they say you have to have a thick skin, but, it does sometimes affect someone if your art is being criticized and your work is being criticized. I agree with you. I think a lot of it is just recognizing that there's people behind these games, and that a lot of hard work went into them, and not to go after them necessarily, and also just to keep that in mind with your criticisms. But it's just so hard. It's a hard time. I think everyone has been empowered to vocalize and speak their thoughts on things, but it's not always, I don't know. I think we're just learning as an industry what this kind of new voice that we've been given. We've all been given the power to speak up and stuff like that, and how that can have ramifications.
And I think it's important to understand the power that both the community has and the development side has. I think, it is a very special relationship that happens. It is very symbiotic in so many ways, because there are no other industries where you can be as closely tied to the people making the thing that you are trying to enjoy. Very few spaces have that. And it's a very special relationship, or pseudo relationship, that I think is there. And I think everyone should be taking care of that in the biggest ways, and understand that your voices are being heard, and that those words do have power. So to use that in a good way is what we hope is the main takeaway from that.
Yeah, exactly. Speaking of art and creating, and we're both creators in the space. The Spawn on Me podcast, or anything you have going on in the works, I want to know, like, what are your gaming creator goals for the year ahead?
Oh yeah, well, we're going to talk a little bit about Summer Game Fest. Summer Game Fest is coming up soon.
It is.
So that's going to be that's one of my favorite shows. Getting a chance to go and attend that again, to kind of cover what's coming out soon. Spawn on Me is in year 11, which is a wild number to say. Still
over a
kicking.
decade.
Yeah, it's still kicking and still doing well. Trying to build out our award show, the Spawnies, again, and trying to get that continue to be really, really smartly done and back off the ground. Sponsors, hello, hit me up. But it's so many different things. I have so many ideas that are in the back of my head. It's just a matter of trying to figure out time to get it out. And also, I do believe that, quality is really, really important. So getting those things out in a way that feels good to me, it feels, important and actually is reflective of my thoughts and feelings. Like that's the hope, and Spawn on Me is continue to do that, so I'm excited for that.
Yeah, oh, that's great. Speaking of Summer Games Fest, is there anything you're really excited to play this summer? Maybe not Summer Games Fest per se, like it doesn't have to be at the show, but is there something that's coming out soon that you're looking forward to checking out? There's
a game that I've been checking out called Umut. It is a horror game. It is brutally hard. is extremely difficult, but I try to compare it to if you mashed up the Blair Witch Midsummer with a 2D scroller one-shot kill game.
Okay.
Like a 1 HP game, but it's like if you mashed up the aesthetic of Blair Witch and Midsummer as a horror game. It is haunting and beautiful and wild. I'm having a blast checking it out. So that's one game, and then there's a bunch of Summer Games Fest stuff that's coming that I can't talk about yet because I'm under. Right. It's not. We haven't gotten a chance to see it yet, and you know, it'll be under embargo.
It's
for sure.
It's embargoed.
A lot of goodies as for sure coming up.
Well, tell me about this game you've been playing and when it's coming out for people who want to check it out.
It's in a demo just came out very recently. They didn't have a release date for it yet, but still reviewing it, still checking it out and poking through it. But the first time I got a chance to play it at a GDC this year, it just been stuck in my head, and I've been bugging those folks to be like, when is this thing coming out? It's hard. Like
it's a hard game.
It is hard. It is
like Dark Souls hard.
It is like, I don't even know if Dark Souls hard is hard compared to this.
Oh,
like,
wow. Okay.
The first boss, the initial boss, I died 100 times alone on that one boss, and I'm still trying. And I finally beat that one boss, but it is crushing. It is fantastic in what it's trying to do.
All right. So for people looking for that sort of experience, keep an eye out. Oh my gosh. Well, thank you so much for coming on this new version of our show. So how did you like your experience as a guest host?
I mean, you're fantastic. Anytime I get a chance to rock with you, it's the easiest job in the world. So
perfect.
Always down to rock and always fantastic to get to hang out with our Canadian fans and Canadian friends.
Yeah.
So beautiful time as always.
Oh, thanks, Kahlief. Well, we'll definitely have you back on, and hopefully I'll see you at Summer Games Fest.
See you at Summer Games Fest.
Kahlief Adams is the CEO and host of the Spawn on Me podcast. You can follow him on Twitter at Kahlief Adams.
Flawless victory! Continue!
And that's This Week in Gaming. I'm your host, Naomi Kyle. A thank you to my co-writer, Josh Seaman, for helping me put this show together every week. Don't forget to let me know what you're playing and what you think of this new format by commenting or tagging me on social at Naomi Kyle. From all of us here at This Week in Gaming, we wish you a fun-filled and gaming-filled week. We'll see you again same time, same place. Thanks for listening.
This Week in Gaming is an iHeartRadio Canada podcast. Subscribe to this podcast on iHeartRadio or wherever you get your podcasts. Download the iHeartRadio app for more podcasts just like these.